Alright, you and I are jumping into a crazy one. Meet our 3-year-old Funko Pop Xavier Benedict, hitting sword swing number 5352. His pregnant mom is watching, telling him not to push himself too hard because his tiny body is still growing. But this kid is completely locked in, swearing he is about to land a sick cut. His dad totally agrees, saying actual training beats eating dirt in the backyard. Honestly, he is not wrong. Then out of nowhere, the wooden sword slips right out of his grip, spins through the air, and jams into a tree. His dad instantly roasts him, dropping some completely unnecessary bullying about how he is far from being a real swordsman. Bro, he is 3. But when the kid jumps to grab it and realizes he is too short, this strange glowing energy suddenly erupts from his hand. The sword shoots straight back into his palm. His dad and the baby factory come sprinting over, totally mind blown. Our main character, Xavier, which sounds like an old man name innocently, says he just wanted his toy to come back. And it actually listened. His dad instantly starts hyping him. He says he never imagined the Benedict family getting a magical genius, while his mom gets super emotional that her Funko Pop has powers. But then the dad snatches him up, claiming it is his turn to properly praise the kid, declaring that from today forward he will raise him into the absolute strongest magic swordsman alive. Here is where you and I need to pay attention. A 3-year-old does not just swing a sword like that. We rewind to an absolute ocean of blood. Humanity genuinely thought they had finally won the war. That was the good news. The terrible news, every single one of his friends was dead. His little sister. Yeah, probably the one currently brewing inside his mom right now. She never got to be born. And standing right before him was the ultimate calamity, Demon King Patrick. Clearly naming villains is not the author's strong suit. Anyway, Patrick is impressed. Impressed a human made it this far, but today marks the end of Xavier Benedict. The demon race will return. Xavier launches forward to strike, but Patrick smiles, saying they will meet again. Boom, Xavier drops an explosive slash, blowing everything away except one purple orb. Xavier walks over and grabs it, recognizing it immediately as the Demon King core, the source of his power. If he destroys it, that guy is dead forever. Except now it is about to explode. Xavier realizes nobody is nearby to block the magical blast. Wait, if everyone is dead, who was your human shield before? Makes sense how he survived this long. He thinks if he had magical talent he could win right now. But despite the horrible sacrifices, today is a loss. His comrades were counting on him. After surviving so many battles, failing their expectations is just crushing. If only he was a bit stronger. Then boom, the smoke clears out while he is wishing he had some magic. We both saw that reincarnation coming right. Cut to a blurry woman saying, "Andrew, look, the Funko Pop was born." Just like that, our deep web Arthur arrived. The awesome part, he kept his past memories. The weird part, he grew fast. Weirder, he trained with absolute zero patience. Literally, the first thing he grabbed was a sword. A natural-born genius with one absolute goal: become stronger than everyone else. Flash forward to the next chapter, and our protagonist is already grinding in the forest. 4,998. 4,999. Bro seriously thinks he is Rock Lee. He is 12 now, and the Demon King is still living in his head. Swearing to kill that bastard, he swings completely, deleting the forest with a shockwave. His logic. To stomp the Demon King, he has to keep training. Fair enough. He is totally exhausted, leaning against a tree thinking, alright, what is my next training then? No joke, he pulls out a book and starts studying. Extremely efficient, just like a friend of Elon Musk. He is back to swinging his sword, literally flying around, tossing fireballs and massive explosions. There are 0 enemies around, and he is already leveling mountains. He creates a crater and goes, not bad. Meanwhile, back in the city, the local gossip is running wild. Everyone is trying to figure out why the nobles are suddenly investigating. Someone says investigating is great for clearing pests. But modern citizens complain the nobles just want to steal their resources. Meanwhile, Xavier strolls through town, waving at Sister Maria, Uncle Jack, greeting literally everyone. From what he knows, the city is run by Count Jim Klaus. Both the Count and his servant Michaela are absolutely hated by other nobles. When things get inconvenient, they vanish. These guys will sell out the empire for money. And here is what you and I know. In his past life, humanity was ruined by corrupt nobles exactly like them. Suddenly, a horse kicks over an old man's apples, and he crouches to pick them up. Out of nowhere, some guy cracks a whip right across him. Xavier glares, looking absolutely ready to end a life right then and there. Stick with me, because watching these arrogant nobles force their way through is pure madness. Right in the middle is Ion Claus, a 10-year-old brat ordering the commoners to entertain him. Then he locks eyes on this tiny, innocent little girl. Sure, the main character is 10 too, but seriously, what is wrong with this noble kid? He marches straight over, clearly looking to start some major trouble. Snatching a piece of bread, he asks the price. The panicked old woman just waves her hands. No, keep your money, take it for free. Just take all the bread. But this brat is definitely scheming something. He smirks, reaching into his pocket. Says he has to follow city rules, tosses 3 solid gold coins down and demands change. Yup, he wants the girl as his change. Absolutely ridiculous. The poor woman stammers that she cannot break that much gold, and then he pulls the exact villain move you would expect. He literally demands the little girl as his change. The crowd is just watching, knowing this poor kid is about to face an absolute nightmare. Honestly, it really feels like the creator totally forgot this creep is 10. Good thing our boy is ready to either risk jail or send this kid straight to the afterlife because he is already grabbing his blade. But wait, he drops his hand. Drawing massive attention right now is a terrible idea, especially when he has way bigger plans to worry about. Keeping his magic a total secret is his biggest advantage. Instead, he decides to teach this arrogant brat a very different kind of lesson. Now watch closely with me here. He sneaks up onto a roof knowing perfectly well that by the time they trace the attack, he will be long gone. Down below, Klaus mocks the crowd asking if they are scared. He claims he paid a fair price and is not acting like some common thug. That little Dementor hand reaches out for her, but suddenly water wraps entirely around his head. He is literally drowning on dry land. The guards panic, yelling for the young master, but they are totally helpless. Klaus is barely hanging on. Meanwhile, the little girl spots Xavier way up high, casting the spell, but she smartly decides to keep her mouth totally shut. Xavier just lets him suffer in that water bubble for 2 whole minutes, and somehow the brat still refuses to pass out. Suddenly, this old guy named Mr. Haboosh enters the scene. He steps up, points his staff, and instantly shatters the spell. The brat flops onto the dirt like complete garbage. Yup, a heavy hitter just entered the chat. Mr. Haboosh easily breaks the remaining water magic. The leftover spell actually bounces toward him, but he just slams his staff down, erupting in a golden aura that leaves Xavier genuinely shocked. You and I both felt that right. He pauses and stares directly at Xavier's hiding spot. Xavier vanishes instantly. The guards try dragging their young master to a healer, but Klaus furiously shoves them all away, yelling for them to stop. Pointing at the tiny girl, he orders her to confess to using magic, threatening her with pure prison time. Obviously, the terrified mother and daughter swear they do not know a single thing about magic. The brat actually tries to throw a punch. Haboosh yanks him backward, sternly reminding Mr. Claus that throwing tantrums in public is a massive disgrace to their noble family name. Claus yells at the professor, but Haboosh mentions the Count will be furious. The Count must be absolutely terrifying because the kid instantly freezes up in pure panic and apologizes. They finally turn to leave, but Claus bitterly mutters that this is not over. Cut straight to the Benedict family dinner, where the little Funko Pop is absolutely devouring food. The parents are stressing out about nobles collecting the yearly taxes. Then the mom brings up the massive rumor about someone attacking the young noble heir. The dad just laughs out loud, saying the brat definitely deserved it. His sister Helena chimes in, whispering that it was a powerful water mage. Like maybe the brother sitting right across the table, Xavier fakes a cough, completely denying it, as if he would ever do something that reckless. He insists he was out training in the woods. Mom tells Helena to stop spreading wild gossip and focus on her own magic studies instead. Like her normal brother could be a secret mage. Helena groans. She wants to cast real spells, not rot away reading textbooks. Meanwhile, the dad loses his appetite, sighing that tax collection season is always an absolute nightmare. The mom tries looking on the bright side. Once they pay, those absolute pests disappear for an entire year. Just 2 more days of pure annoyance. She passes food to Helena while the dad asks Xavier if he is ready for a tough training session. Xavier smoothly turns him down. His dad gasps, joking that he is throwing away a golden opportunity to spar with a legendary battlefield veteran. But Xavier simply stands up, brushing it off. He has real business to handle, so training will have to wait. Plus, he tells his dad to go train his brain for once. Getting absolutely roasted for free by your 12-year-old son is just wild. His sister begs to tag along, but he orders her straight back to the books to practice crafting herbs and healing potions. So what do you and I make of this? He pretends he just needs backup, but really in his past life she was already a legendary potion master by 16. But here is the heartbreaking truth. While he fought demons on the front lines for 2 years, monsters violently attacked their family home, and his sister didn't survive. Stick with me here. You and I are diving into a timeline where she's curing Velato's poison, a deadly plague that wiped out 1/3 of the Bone Castle. That is exactly why she needs absolute protection this time around. Meanwhile, back in town, that spoiled brat Klaus gets brutally slapped across the face. His own dad delivers the hit zero hesitation. He tells him to shut up and asks if he really disrespected Mr. Haboosh. Klaus is fuming. Wait, my dad is hitting me over a bodyguard, but the old man just calls his son a massive disgrace. He completely lacks what it takes to survive and act like a proper noble. The kid whines that it doesn't matter. He has tons of guards and privilege, but his dad just calls him an absolute idiot. Noble status comes from raw military power, and Haboosh is an archmage, the strongest in the Klaus family. He's the actual shield keeping their family in power, not some useless trash like his son. Honestly, it makes sense why Klaus is so messed up when his dad is this brutal. And then the guy actually says a son is easily replaceable. Just get another woman pregnant, problem solved. New kid secured. Klaus runs off, bawling his eyes out. Yeah, impossible to be normal with a dad like that. The father casually brushes it off. The boy will learn. Out in the streets, the kid is completely crushed. He cannot fathom why his awful dad would choose a servant over his own flesh. And he entirely blames the jerk who used magic on him. Once he finds out who it was, they are going to pay dearly. Now check this out, let's hop over to a new scene. Under an orange sunset, our protagonist bumps into his incredibly cute friend, Cecily. He asks if she needs something and she thanks him for earlier. He plays totally dumb. Thanks for what? I didn't do anything. But she smiles, hands him some tiny fruits, and Xavier realizes his cover is totally blown. She already figured out he is incredible with swordsmanship and magic. Just relax, she tells him. She promises to keep quiet on one condition: he shows off his real skills. He tries playing it dumb, but there is no way he is fooling Cecily. Here we go. Literally everyone from his past life was crazy. His childhood friend fought beside him on the front lines for years, a genius swordswoman with insane instincts. But she was slaughtered by demons before the war ended. So she died recently and then instantly regressed, just like him. Now she is blushing, asking to share his secrets and be partners in crime, leaving him completely flustered. He agrees, but only far outside the city. Night falls, and boom, someone violently punches a tree. Its claws absolutely seething as the memories loop in his head. That little runt cannot be that strong. Why does his dad keep favoring that guy? Naturally, his hand throbs in pain. He is just a kid. Never held a blade, never trained for a single second. Klaus just stands there raging, screaming curses at his father for treating him like absolute garbage. Then suddenly a heavy paw steps on his back. A giant bug-eyed forest wolf is moving in for the absolute kill. The kid looks back and we're about to see him get totally wiped out. He face plants into the dirt like an absolute clown, rolls over and sees this massive drooling beast staring right at him. He screams for help, panicking because he's all alone. But suddenly a hand grabs his collar, yanks him back and slams him into a wall. Now our boy is staring down the creature and Klaus is totally shocked. Wait, did this tiny kid just shove me away? The protagonist grinds his teeth. This damn beast is not leaving here alive today. But mentally he is doing the math. They are standing on the forest edge, no backup is coming. Honestly, this creature shouldn't even be out here. Why is a wild monster roaming this close to town? That only makes sense if the demon armies have started marching again. The beast roars, lunges straight forward and swings a massive paw. He leaps backward to dodge, sidesteps right, and we get a straight-up Dragon Ball fight sequence. Only issue normal blades cannot cut through magical beasts. Still, his past training keeps him in the game until a brutal hit catches his chest. He skids backward. Cecily and Klaus watch from behind, paralyzed. He desperately wants to cast magic, but not with that noble brat watching. Cecily is safe, but Klaus would absolutely snitch in a heartbeat. So taking down a magic beast using zero magic, yeah, not easy. Even so, he hypes himself up. No room for fear. If he is really planning to execute the Demon King, he cannot afford to tremble at some low-level random mob like this. He dashes forward, completely locked in. Who needs magic to butcher a monster anyway? Sure, this is his first beast fight in this timeline, but in his past life he slaughtered thousands of them on the battlefield. He rushes in Juke's left and slides right under its massive arm. Magic or no magic, he knows exactly how these things move. He lands a clean slash, tearing the ground and ripping its chest. Blood sprays, the beast falls backward, and you and I just witnessed a legend. Alright, you and I are back. Klaus is absolutely stunned. The kid actually soloed a magical beast. Our exhausted MC completely collapses. Cecily screams his name, sprinting over to help him. He forces himself up, claiming he's just tired, glad that everyone else is still breathing. But suddenly Klaus yells at them to look behind. Boom. That beast he just sliced up, it's already back on its feet the very next second. Our MC watches those massive wounds instantly heal. Yeah, something is terribly wrong. He violently shoves Cecily away, screaming at her to run. She refuses to abandon him, but he brutally yells that she's just dead weight right now. Cecily finally takes off, dragging Klaus by the hand. Klaus argues they can't just leave the kid to die, but she insists they have to. They need to find backup. Plus, there is zero chance the author is forcing Klaus into our main character's party right now. Honestly, with a dad like that, it makes perfect sense. Or maybe it doesn't. Classic Manhwa logic, honestly. But the monster completely ignores our boy, turning its sights on the running duo. He screams, hurling his heavy sword straight at its head, but the beast casually smacks it away. Luckily, the blade crashes nearby, so he frantically sprints over to grab it. He figures if he drags this nightmare deeper into the dark woods, he can finally unleash his real magic without anyone watching. Stick with me here because this chase gets insane. The monster follows, completely destroying everything. A massive tail whip snaps a tree, flying straight at his back. He spins, blocks the strike, slashes the trunk, and then a massive hand swings in. He parries 2 brutal claw swipes with his sword, but takes the third hit head-on, launching backwards and violently smashing into a tree. On the bright side, with everyone gone, he can theoretically use his magic. The monster lunges for a killing bite, but our guy scoops up some dirt and tosses it at its eye, which literally makes 0 sense. I mean, look at the sheer size of that eyeball, a handful of dirt. Yet somehow anime logic wins and the beast goes half-blind. He is just desperately buying time so his friends can escape safely. Seriously, he is still paranoid about being seen. Dude, you are literally going to die right here if you don't cast something. Backed against a massive cliff, still gambling with his life. In that terrifying second, he finally accepts there is no turning back. He summons an absolutely massive fireball with so much swagger. Then he winds up and pitches that thing like a major league ace. Direct hit right between the monster's eyes. Boom, a massive explosion shakes the forest smoke, billowing everywhere while our boy celebrates his victory. But wait, the cliff literally crumbles and he plummets. If he wakes up next to some random cave creature, the author is officially trolling us with these tropes. He's falling, panicking. How could he be dying already? This is literally his second life. Our boy refuses to quit. He activates a glowing magic circle, screaming that there is absolutely no way he dies like this. Meanwhile, Klaus glances back in pure confusion. Cecily screams Xavier's name as the entire forest is instantly swallowed by a blinding explosion. She desperately prays for his survival. Then the scene shifts, revealing our MC absolutely planted at the bottom of a massive crater. Wait, no, it's his child version hallucinating his own past self. He is watching in pure heartbreak, seeing everyone he loved lying dead on the ground. Once again, his entire life is flashing right before his eyes. It actually looks like game over. A whole lifetime battling the Demon King, reincarnating for a second chance just to lose it all right here. But he refuses. No matter what it takes, he vows to protect everyone in this new world. I know what you're thinking, dude. Literally made a crater with his spine, and he's still getting up. Absolute madness. Now that is some legendary main character energy. He slowly pushes himself up completely dazed, trying to figure out if he is actually alive. His head is pounding, and yep, there is literal bone sticking out of his leg. The artist went completely savage here. You almost never see it drawn this graphic, but whatever MC goes full surgeon mode, shoving the bone back in and magically sealing the skin. Easy fix, right? Ready to play soccer. Except suddenly he feels incredibly dizzy, like the sky is spinning. Weird glowing particles start guiding his vision. But nope, he just collapses flat on his back again, totally drained and absolutely starving. He glances over, highly tempted to eat the freshly roasted monster he just killed, but completely hesitates. Magical beast meat is definitely not meant for human consumption. It is basically poison. Fast forward 3 days, he hasn't even flinched. So yeah, the whole soccer idea is cancelled. He is starving, literally mumbling that he's about to die. Just use your hands, crawl over there and eat the damn thing. It really took him 72 hours to cave. Worst case scenario, you die, which is guaranteed if you just lie there anyway. Getting up is the only option. Basic math, right? He is absolutely furious that he has to eat a monster to survive. Taking a deep breath, he builds up his courage and aggressively bites down. He swears he will do absolutely anything it takes to live. He rips a massive chunk out of the roasted beast, finally getting a full stomach. Next scene, he is hobbling with a cane. So what do you and I take from this? Even overpowered heroes still trip like complete idiots after a broken leg, and I absolutely love it. Trust me, you and I know Manhwa logic is wild. But if a kid has a bone sticking out, please do not make him sprint around. He is barely limping when a glowing, slender figure sneaks up and asks if his leg hurts. He whips around, demanding who is there. The mysterious voice of light drops a harsh truth. Fix that wound fast or infection will kill him. Just step closer and he gets healed. This is his one ticket out of hell. Our main character recognizes this place as the Abyss, an area with absolutely absurd mana density. He honestly has zero clue how he ended up somewhere this dangerous. The glowing orb says to follow along, or you know he can just stay put and bleed out. His choice. He is super annoyed now. Whoever is waiting for him clearly has a trash personality, but he still follows the strange guiding energy anyway. He shoves through the bushes, covers his eyes from the blinding flash, and smacks right into a beautiful, slender marble statue. He asks if he was really talking to a statue. She says yes. Meet Goddess Erd, one of 3 fate goddesses managing the roots of the world tree. Our hero is completely shocked that gods actually exist. Bro, you lived a whole life without knowing that. Anyway, glowing energy flows from behind the statue and completely wraps around his broken foot. In 1 second, his body fully regenerates. And yep, the statue wakes up. Watch closely. With those massive proportions, we both know she is crazy powerful. She casually asks the boy what his name is. He seriously doubts the goddess' claim. How can someone that insanely powerful not even know a simple kid's name? She just starts poking his cheek, asking if she ever claimed to be omniscient. Being a magical goddess does not mean knowing literally everything. Blushing like crazy, he asks why she got abandoned here. The fate goddess explains, the tree of life is poisoned and nobody knows why. So now she is completely trapped, forced to babysit the roots so the tree survives. While her sisters live out in the sunny upper realms, she is stuck with a fate worse than a goblin. Xavier mentions he has heard of the world tree. Rumor says it connects the heavens, the human world, and the dark underworld. It represents pure eternity. People actually believe all creation exists because of it. She smiles. Good, he knows the basics. He finally introduces himself as Xavier, while secretly thinking she is definitely not your average normal goddess. And since this is a manhwa, a goddess showing up obviously means a big deal. With a highly mischievous smirk, she offers to lend him power if he investigates the tree's sickness. But Xavier immediately thinks this feels weird. Can gods just hand out power? Also, shout out to the artist for that legendary low-angle shot. She admits she is only offering because the chances of another magic swordsman falling down here are basically 0%. He is stunned she knows his class. She says analyzing his body made it obvious. Plus, 26 years of pure boredom down here really hurts. If he helps her escape, the deal is on. I know what you are thinking. Trapped 26 years, our guy lived through that exact nightmare in his past life. Suddenly she asks if this is his second life. She feels way too much resentment and heavy despair stuffed inside one single body. The big issue, someone dragging around all that baggage absolutely cannot use her holy power properly. He panics, demanding how she knows his secret. She laughs, reading a child's soul is ridiculously easy. Xavier gets visibly angry, and honestly fair enough. If gods exist, why let humanity suffer and die like helpless bugs? She replies that no race is truly superior. Gods, demons, humans, looking at the big picture, everyone is totally equal. Sure, gods helped humans recently, but babying a race just makes them weak. He needs to realize that constant divine help means humans would never learn to defend themselves at all today. Instead of playing the blame game, he must focus on taking responsibility to save his people. Getting scolded by a hot goddess classic. She forms a bright light ball and wraps up the chat. He can return home now, but she drops a warning. Mastering her power will be brutal, and sadly, she has zero time to play teacher. Inside that glowing light is the basic knowledge he needs to figure things out alone. Xavier stays totally quiet. She pats his head gently, explaining that whether he believes it or not, his arrival here was pure destiny. As he levels up those powers, his lingering questions will be answered. She points him toward the portal. She has no clue how, but he will end up back home. He nods in silent understanding. Expecting good news, she reminds him, destiny is waiting. He takes one final look back, then steps into the portal. This is literally a scene straight out of the beginning after the end. Except instead of a giant dragon, he scores a hot goddess. Talk about an upgrade, our boy tumbles out the other side, crashing face first, thinking he finally made it home. But where is he now? We both know this kid cannot catch a break. Alright, stick with me here, we are jumping straight into the chaos. Someone is screaming for help and Erd's voice tells him to try. He just stands there looking around. Where the heck is she? But she says it is just a message. She tells him to focus energy into his leg and climb that huge tree. He thinks it is impossible. Yeah, right. The kid who literally slayed a demon cannot climb a tree. To be fair, it is not actually climbing. It is basically one massive jump, ignoring the branches entirely. Boom, suddenly he is at the top, stumbling everywhere. But honestly, way too easy. His body feels ridiculously light, and Erd says his vision is sharper now too. She tells him to test it out. He looks toward the horizon and spots someone begging for help way off in the distance. 3 massive guys bullying one lost little girl in the woods. Classic. Our guy thanks Erd. These punks are perfect target practice. In a flash, he is right above them. The fastest strategy, take out the biggest guy first. He drops straight in from behind. I really thought the big guy would dodge. Nope. Takes a direct hit to the neck. The dude goes flying and violently slams into a tree. Meanwhile, the others are just staring, completely confused. Then our protagonist pulls a brutal crucifixion move, shoving a rock right into his mouth. The guy clutches his face, totally blinded. The last thug freaks out, demanding to know who this kid is. The protagonist just says he owes them 0 explanations. Watch closely because the artist went wild with these proportions. The red-haired guy has a ridiculously huge nose. He is furious, screaming about his brothers. They lock eyes and charge. Our hero just smirks, and the guy's blade hits empty air. Instantly, he teleports behind the other guy. One savage strike to the spine, and boom, he explodes into a tree a second later. He snatches the dropped sword mid-air and rushes the last brother. Blade pressed to his face. Drop the weapons and hand over the cash. The guy instantly folds, offering a bag of gold, begging for mercy. Then the protagonist orders him to apologize. The terrified thug tosses the gold to the girl. The red-haired punk actually thanks him for being kind. He cries about having a family to feed. But our guy shuts him down way too late for sob stories now. He strikes from behind and wow, did he rip his leg off. Nope, just slashed the back of his knees. leaving the guy limping and screaming that the absolute bastard promised. He claims not killing him is kindness. Honestly, I would have just finished the job. You and I know how Manhwa works, never leave a hater alive. Now he will plot revenge forever. Anyway, time for the classic night routine. Can you stand, little girl? Let's head back. She cries about being saved and reaches out. Next scene, she is literally glowing with green healing magic. Any second now he will realize she is the legendary fallen healer. She calls him Big Brother and he realizes how insanely rare a mage with healing powers actually is. Suddenly, they hear shouting in the distance. Enemies telling each other to search here. They know someone is close. The protagonist takes zero chances, grabs her arm and bolts. This healer is way too valuable. He is absolutely not losing her today. They tear through the dense forest, jump off a massive waterfall, sling magic, and keep running until dark. Finally, he finds a hiding spot. They are safe for now. Thinking about it, this is literally just the beginning after the end all over again. Saving a cute blonde girl in a forest if he moves to her kingdom, I swear. She asks his name, and he says Xavier. The first 12-year-old Xavier in history. Her name is Tifana Roman. Hilariously, he calls her Roman sounds like a middle-aged dude to me, but hearing that family name makes him completely freeze. Wait, the legendary Tifana family? He asks about her brother. She is shocked. How does he know? He thinks about poor Charlene, who spent his entire life searching for his sister, and our guy just stumbled onto her in a random forest. Honestly, I am confused. Her brother Charlene calls her Tifana. He had been agonizing over whether she was even alive, and our hero confirms she is definitely okay. He pats her head, promising to get her back home safely. He considers finding this overpowered kid an absolute blessing. Then deep night falls. She sleeps while he rests and chats with Erd. He wants to master his powers. Turns out this is just Erd's leftover consciousness designed to teach him. Grab the dagger. Stop just concentrating magic and let mana flow intentionally. Trust me, you will want to see what happens next. Stick with me here. Small weapons mean way easier control. Gripping the dagger, it flares up with bright blue energy. She tells him it is time to learn a shadow element skill. He needs to force maximum mana right into the tip, molding it into a sharp arrow. Then simply spin a tiny shadow vortex at the edge of the blade, and he can pierce straight through any heavy armor. With the raw energy locked in, she tells him to try it out. He instantly swings at a thick tree. Just a tiny little poke, and the blade glides in like butter. But wait, the entire tree completely detonates. He stares in absolute shock. All he did was a light tap, then Erd's soul drops a bomb. She forgets everything she actually teaches. Guess he has to memorize it himself. He says bye, and Tifana suddenly wakes up asking what is happening. Suddenly, the boy catches a noise nearby. Trouble is coming. He scoops her right up, whispering to stay totally quiet. He spots a tall tree, scrambles up fast, hides her in the branches, and shushes her. Looking down, a bandit squad approaches. The red-haired guy swears he just heard noises coming from this exact spot. Spotting the totally blasted tree, they assume someone planted a bomb. He grins, saying that means the healer must be hiding close by. Another asks how he knows. He literally senses her aura floating around. He even detects a weird temperature drop on the dirt where she slept. The guy is ridiculously sharp. Even our boy is stunned. The boss tells Jimmy to keep scanning, and the creepy guy smirks, promising to hunt them. Now watch closely. Jimmy sparks golden energy that zips right toward the tree. Our boy instantly realizes it is a tracking skill. These three are way deadlier than the last squad. But honestly, compared to savage magical beasts, they are basically nothing. No way he loses to these clowns. The tracking spell lights up the canopy, and Jimmy declares target locked. The gray-haired boss orders Bob to handle it. Bob, being completely arrogant, yells that he will bring them both crashing down to the dirt. Our hero grins. They are splitting up to fight solo, which is absolute perfection here. Bob stops under the massive tree, yelling that he will chop the coward down. He violently swings his heavy axe into wood. The entire trunk shudders. He hacks at it over and over, demanding the kid come out. Up above, our boy quietly celebrates. Everything is playing out flawlessly. Flashback to a few minutes ago, right before the tracking magic activated. Absolute genius move. Knowing that tracking spells lock onto fresh mana, he casually tossed a mana-infused water ball at a totally different tree. That tricked the golden energy. So now Bob is sweating like a fool while our boy chills safely. If they want to be this reckless, he will easily pick one off. As Bob aggressively chops our kid, silently gathers dripping leaf water into a floating bubble. Time to use the exact same deadly trick he pulled on Klaus earlier. Bob finally realizes something is totally off, but game over. The bubble completely traps his head. He suffocates, swinging his axe wildly, and you are probably thinking, what a pathetic amateur. They are basically just as weak. He throws his dagger straight through the fat guy, and it just keeps going. The other bandits hear a distant crack. One of them pauses, sensing that something has gone horribly wrong over there. The loud chopping completely stopped. He guesses their prey might actually be a mage. The boss admits Bob is dead meat if that is true. Wait, so why let him go alone? Classic low-tier villain logic. They discover the chopped trunk, a soaking wet floor, and zero Bob. One guy uses basic logic, wet ground but zero rain today. Has to be magic. So what does this genius do? Pokes it and gets zapped. He spasms wildly and crashes onto his back. Poisoned water. The boss screams to stay alert. Suddenly, two massive rocks blast out of the shadows. One bandit almost gets crushed again. The boss reacts fast, blasting the second rock into dust with a fireball. He yells out that the attack angles mean multiple hidden enemies are totally surrounding them. Our hero watches from the shadows grinning. Okay, the boss uses fire magic. The boss screams at his men to stay grouped up, avoiding an ambush. But our boy knows they have already lost this fight. The bandits are freaking out. Without Jimmy's radar, they are basically blind against a ghost attacker. How do they survive this? The boss ignites a massive fireball. If the rats stay hidden, he will just burn the forest down. Instantly, our boy steps right out into the open, waving hello. The boss is absolutely stunned. Why is a kid here? He claims he is just picking herbs. Classic bluff. Trust me, you definitely want to see what happens next. These guys do not buy his innocent act at all. Our boy plays dumb. They accuse him of murder, but stick with me. Watch how this kid absolutely manipulates these fully grown men. He casually mentions he saw someone run by earlier. If they want the juice, he is more than happy to point the way. The boss grins, offering to recruit him if the intel checks out. But our guy shuts it down fast. Sorry, no can do. Mom and Dad are waiting for him at home. Boom, a massive fireball flies right at his face, tearing through the trees. Even the boss is totally caught off guard. But the kid vanished. He teleported right behind the two goons. Taking on a crazy fire mage is annoying, so he needs to isolate this fight immediately. He instantly traps the lackeys in giant water spheres, completely cutting off their air supply. The fire boss panics and literally blasts his own men trying to melt it. Our main character just sighs. Every single fire mage is exactly the same horrible temper, zero brain cells. The two goons hit the dirt completely passed out. Yep, their own boss basically just pressure cooked them alive. He shakes his head. Fire users really are a special kind of stupid, aren't they? Furious, the boss charges in with a blazing punch, but our boy is just grinning. He effortlessly sidesteps the attack and breaks into a full sprint. He scoops up a random sword off the dirt. The villain is totally baffled now. Wait, is this tiny kid actually trying to fight him with a blade? Coating the blade in raw energy, he drops the act. He hates taking lives, but scumbags like this guy absolutely do not count. Now pay attention, this is where it gets wild. Since the villain saw his real power, nobody leaves alive. The boss actually gets hyped up. Finding a prodigy who masters both blades and magic is way more valuable than their original target. He completely lunges at him, shouting that he is keeping the boy. A lethal strike aims right for his heart, but crashes face first into a solid water shield. The water completely extinguishes the flames, and he violently shoves the blade forward. But the veteran deflects it. He parries the sword and violently kicks our guy, sending him flying backward. Even the old guy is sweating now. How does a literal child have the killing aura of a hardened war veteran? The answer: our hero is officially done playing nice. The desperate man channels another massive fire spell directly into the dirt. Our boy just watches as the villain screams at him to die, launching a gigantic fiery explosion. Could he dodge? Sure. But nah, it is time to flex. He unleashes his water magic, creating a massive elemental dragon that swallows the fiery blast whole. When the intense steam finally clears out, the entire area is wiped clean. The villain actually starts cheering, assuming the dumb kid just got vaporized into dust. You saw that coming, right? While he is laughing, our guy appears right behind him, one clean stab dead center sliding through him like absolute butter. He stands there mumbling that this is totally impossible. Well, buddy, game over. His lifeless body flops directly onto the dirt. Our hero coldly stares down, declaring that this is exactly the fate every kidnapper deserves. With his daily badass moment out of the way, he hops up a tree to find Tiffania. He casually says the trash is taken care of, but she is violently shaking, calling him amazing. Xavier immediately plays dumb. Nope, just pure luck. Backup is coming, so they need to move fast. She already knows he is hiding his real strength, so he quickly charms her into keeping his little secret quiet. Honestly, this guy deserves an Oscar for this innocent act. He throws in a classic anime head pat, promising to always protect her. Back on the ground, the enemies are completely wiped out, and Tiffania asks if they are dead. He smiles and says, nope, everyone except the boss is just sleeping. But mid-sentence, his vision goes blurry, and he completely face plants into the dirt. She screams his name, and the scene instantly cuts to a quiet little village. See, what did I tell you? A woman asks someone named Charlene if the boy finally woke up. If my memory serves me right, that is his buddy from his past life. He tells the woman he will check on the patient right now. Giving major beginning after the end vibes right here. Thankfully, they are just normal villagers and not some secret overpowered alpha family. She reminds him to properly thank the hero who saved Tiffania, and he nods, promising he will handle it. Suddenly, Tiffania bursts into the room. Her older brother tells her to chill out, but she desperately wants to help out. He orders her back to bed. She stubbornly refuses, arguing that he is overworking himself. She feels totally fine now and just wants to pull her own weight. He sighs, explaining the real issue is not her injuries, it is the fact she sneaked out. She looks down, promising she will never run away like that ever again. Charlene just brushes it off, deciding it is finally time to go check on our unconscious hero. He gently opens the bedroom door, and instantly a massive hand shoots out from the shadows right at his face. Tiffania screams at him to stop. The two guys freeze, staring at each other in total confusion. Our boy almost attacked, but then he finally recognizes that familiar face. Cut to the dining table loaded with food. Charlene smiles, telling him to eat absolutely anything he wants. So what do you and I take from this? Never underestimate a hungry kid. He pats his huge belly, saying he can finally feel full again. Charlene catches his weird accent and asks where he is actually from. Our main character casually drops that he lives in Anzoff, a city way out in Bone Castle territory. Charlene totally panics. Bone Castle is literally a 3-day walk. So how did he end up way out here? Stick with me because our boy actually decides to sit down and tell the entire insane story. He spills it all. Charlene is absolutely stunned hearing that actual magical beasts are roaming around the woods. Our guy did not want to freak the dude out, but hey, better to warn him before somebody gets eaten. Charlene immediately decides they need to get this kid home. His parents must be losing their minds, probably assuming a monster already made a snack out of him. The hero is super confused. Is Charlene seriously tagging along? Charlene hits him with a confident yes. As the older guy here, there is zero chance he is letting a kid wander back through that literal death trap alone. Tiffania chimes in, hyping Xavier up as some absolute powerhouse who probably does not even need a bodyguard. But of course, we need our mandatory head pat moment for the chapter. He touches her face, dropping some wisdom about how kids should just learn to rely on adults. She asks if she can join the road trip. He agrees. Dude, you should have just said no. Send her home so she does not get ambushed again, forcing our guy to flex his powers and expose his big secrets. Our boy, meanwhile, realizes Charlene is a totally reliable bro as always. Tiffania, she is just vibrating with pure excitement. She is practically begging to get kidnapped again to push the plot. You and I know exactly how this manhwa logic works. Then suddenly our boy just completely breaks down crying. This kid mental state is totally shattered. Seeing the tears, Charlene gently grabs his shoulder and tells him to breathe. They will definitely find his parents. Our guy almost snaps, wanting to yell at him to stop treating him like a baby. But Charlene smiles, saying he will grow up eventually. Cut to the next morning, Charlene is leading the horse while they hit the dusty road. Suddenly, village chief Kareen shouts out to them. Charlene stops asking what is going on. Charlene promises he will be back really soon and tells them not to worry. But Kareen just smiles, saying it is fine because everyone here is family. Did this old man really just show up to say goodbye? Oh no, he is definitely going to die soon just to give us all some trauma, right? They will come back and find this village wiped out. Anyway, the road trip is pure, wholesome vibes. They sing songs, wear flower crowns, and chill by a campfire. Our lead stays on high alert for monsters, but literally nothing attacks them. A perfectly peaceful trip, and boom, they are finally standing right in front of Karpen Castle. Back home, Xavier mom is an absolute wreck, desperately begging to know where her son went. Wait a minute. Helena never told anyone he went to 1v1, a literal monster. Lady, you should be completely convinced he is dead by now. The dad grabs his gear, saying he is going back out to search. He tells her to get some sleep, but she stubbornly refuses, demanding to join him. He reminds her she has not slept in days. Swearing on his life that he will find Xavier, he begs her to stay home and rest up. Her face suddenly drops. She shakily asks if their boy crossed over to the other world. He immediately shuts that down. Impossible. Come on, he is the main character of this story. There is zero chance he dies here. But mom is definitely not buying it. She cries that they checked the spot where he fell and found nothing. He clearly got eaten. The dad firmly tells her not to lose hope just yet. Xavier is absolutely alive and kicking. Meanwhile, his poor little sister is just sobbing her eyes out, wondering where her big brother vanished to. We cut back to Klaus, trapped in his daily routine of getting verbally destroyed by his dad. You and I are probably wondering if we should even feel bad. Klaus actually begs his father to dispatch a search party for his missing friend. But his dad, just chilling in a cloud of smoke, coldly claims there is zero profit in saving a nobody. Klaus argues that the boy literally saved his life. Yeah, nice try, kid, but that logic will not work on a toxic dad who could not care less about you. His father absolutely loses it, furious that his son is kneeling for trash. And just like that, things get violent. The dad violently grabs him, spitting that he is a noble and completely humiliating himself over pathetic commoners. For crying out loud. He tells him to remember the world harsh rule: there are nobles, and there is the trash born just to serve and feed them. Throwing Klaus hard into the dirt, he snarls that his son needs to start enjoying his noble perks and fight to keep them. He demands absolute obedience. This guy is seriously unstable. The narrative tells us that right then, Klaus felt this massive wave of sickening discomfort wash over him. Maybe being an awful noble was not the life he actually wanted. He clenches his fists, swearing he will figure out what is actually right. Oh, come on, last chapter, this dude was literally trying to buy a girl with 3 shiny gold coins, and now I am supposed to feel sorry for him. Author, what kind of redemption arc are you pushing? Anyway, cut to Tiffania. She is hyped, throws her window wide open and spots some tiny birds playing outside. Her brother walks in asking what is so interesting. She happily points out the playing birds, but he corrects her. They are not just playing around, that is how they watch each other backs, which naturally builds a deeper bond. Tiffania takes notes on how bonding works. And let us be real, we both know she is totally going to test this exact strategy on our clueless guy. Speak of the devil, he walks in right then, announcing a quick shop run. She asks why, and he admits his clothes are so wrecked he basically looks like a street beggar. Alright, you and I are back. Charlene offers him clothes, flexing her dad's swagger. He instantly refuses. There is zero chance he is wearing those goofy Joker shoes. Cut to a quiet forest. Our guy walks alone, telling Erd, the coast is clear to talk. Suddenly his chest starts glowing brightly. What is happening, Erd? A spirit flies right out. Wow, she is literally floating up there. She turns around stretching, saying she finally gets some fresh air. He totally freaks out. Why is a woman flying out of his actual body? She tells him to chill. It is just her consciousness showing up. She can only manifest like this because he knows her face. That mental image lets her solidify and float right in front of him. What the heck? She just sways around in the air, warning him right away she is only a mental projection, absolutely useless in combat. He just stares at her powerful projection. Seriously. Imagination is crazy strong, even if she just uses it to yell. He is furious. She poked his eyes so many times before, so she should at least be able to fight magical beasts. Instead, she tells him to stand up straight because class is starting now. Right on cue, his chest glows again. A beam shoots out, opening a giant glowing eye straight into the tree trunk. He is totally shocked by what just happened. She just rolls her eyes, telling him to stop acting amazed and get inside already. They have tons of work to do. He asks what is next, and she basically says his past enemies were complete garbage. Watch closely here because you and I know that excited smile is definitely going to disappear. She tells him to stay on his toes. It might look super easy, but dying too many times means instantly failing the test. He starts complaining about needing to get home soon, so his parents do not worry. She completely ignores him and says, "Get in." No time to argue. She literally tosses him inside the portal and the tree snaps shut. She just stands there silently with an empty speech bubble, and then whoosh, she vanishes. Boom. He drops into a totally different space. A floating status window pops up, Xavier Benedict skills in magic and swordsmanship. Suddenly, his trusty dagger materializes right into his grip. Looking up, an army of stone golems is marching straight at him. The first trial, take down 5 giant golems and do it within 10 minutes. Erd chimes in, warning him that since this is round 1, he gets some tips. Next time, he is completely solo. He better remember this rule. Dying too much drains his stamina, making the trial literally impossible. Then she casually wishes him good luck. That was the big tip, gee thanks. The massive golems charge him, but he can already tell they are ridiculously weak compared to magical beasts. Is this even real training? After surviving so many insane fights in his past life, he can gauge their weak power level just from their aura. With that many targets grouped up together, he decides magic is the best play. He is not about to waste perfectly good stamina on trash mobs. A massive bazooka-level blast erupts from his hand at the lead golem. The blast hits dead center, shattering the rock beast instantly. Damn, he just wiped the floor with them. You and I both know he is overpowered, but 5 seconds, he demands the next stage, while Erd pops up completely flabbergasted. He casually mentions he got a perfect clear. She aggressively thumps her chest, convinced he must be secretly hiding his true power level. The math is not mathing. 5 seconds should be impossible, but he just shrugs, claiming he is not hiding anything. Honestly, she is the weird one here. Did she not claim to be a goddess who could easily sense his true strength? Turns out this cheap copy of her consciousness lacks the radar of her real body. She gets super awkward, stuttering that it is not like that. She claims she is still learning and unlocking powers. Yeah, right, this cheap copy is defective. Finally, she sighs. Fine, she gets it. He is definitely not a normal kid. Now that she knows his level, the next test can begin. Instantly, a massive pack of stone wolves spawns in, plus even more giant golems join the party. She warns him the clock is ticking faster, only 5 minutes now. He scans the room, realizing these are twice as strong, but still absolute child's play. This time around, he drops the magic, pure melee mode. He launches forward, going straight into a chaotic brawl, landing clean hits with his dagger. 2 heavy attacks drop from above. He vaults over, landing perfectly behind a golem, realizing their rocky skin is super tough to crack open. Caught midair, 5 massive strikes zero in on him, but he insanely slips past the first arm, using it to launch himself, totally dodging the second and third. Watches from a distance, completely mind-blown. It took her 20 seconds to beat stage 1. Wait, does that make this kid 4 or 5 times stronger than a god? Impossible? She desperately wants to analyze his magic flow, but she needs her main body to pull off something like that. Monsters sliced in half, smoke and debris everywhere. You and I just witnessed an absolute massacre, and it only took him 1 minute. Stick with me here. Our boy smirks, basically asking if she has anything actually strong for him to fight. He thinks he is just wasting stamina for absolutely zero payoff. Those mobs were way too weak to do damage. But warns him not to celebrate yet. Those monsters never give anyone a free pass. Right on cue, a massive axe comes spinning from his blind spot. It smashes the dirt, and he barely dodges. He slides back instantly, scanning for the next hit. Looking up, he totally freezes. He is shocked while is just happily cheering. Yep, another beast, but much bigger. The thing is an absolute unit, charging fast to blindside him. Our guy nearly gets chopped cleanly in two. Just smiles. She is impressed, sure, but she is quickly getting used to his crazy reflexes. Dodging again, he realizes these stone golems are the real deal, packing serious power. The worst part, 2 of them. Taunts him, asking if he is holding back. He snaps at her to be quiet, declaring the real beatdown starts now. He charges. The giant swings hard, but he leaps right onto its arm, going full Captain Levi on this thing. Flipping through the air, he lands right behind its neck and brutally drives his dagger straight into its head. That first hit barely scratches it, but he swears he has this. Suddenly, the beast attacks again. It is like a brand new arm just sprouted from its back, launching a massive fist. He manages a block, but come on, a dagger against a giant fist. The impact craters the ground. A surprise arm. Insane. Watch closely, because you and I know this changes everything. Defending is way harder now, but just demands his full power. He finally realizes something. Even if he literally dies here, she will not lift a finger. The beast roars and rushes him. Time for a change of plans. He activates his magic, and point blank, blasts it with fire. But instantly he panics, realizing he dumped way too much mana, and awkwardly, mid-sentence, another brutal attack flies at his face. He narrowly avoids getting a buzz cut from that axe. Even so, he grins hyped to see exactly how much damage this tank absorbs. Boom, another explosion hits dead center. Both golems swarm him now. One is missing a chunk, while the other throws a right hook. The monster is regenerating insanely fast. His heavy hits are basically getting completely nullified. He stabs wildly. Again, zero effect. The 2 giants slowly start trapping him. Glaring at the front golem, he yells that he does not care if they keep regrowing limbs, he will just keep chopping them off. Just chills on the sidelines, admitting the kid has skills. Fast forward a bit, and both golems are totally armless once more. Finally, after dying like 10 times, the golems actually stop healing. They completely drain their energy. Catching his breath, he realizes he is completely wiped out. But hey, anime logic pushing past limits is exactly how he levels up. He thinks finding was pure luck. And honestly, you and I can both agree, this chaotic duo is an absolute win. Deciding he just needs one clean opening, he completely launches himself at the twins, slicing a brutal path straight through the middle. Rocks explode everywhere. Calls it incredible, and our boy is totally hyped, screaming for the next target. He is a born fighting monster. She planned to call it a day, but since he is begging for more, the brutal training session continues. Flash forward to the city. Our guy upgraded his drip with new clothes and even grabbed a cute little toy that Helena will love. But while strolling around, he spots some sketchy dudes in an alleyway, aggressively shaking down a girl for something. He immediately recognizes her. It is the girl from earlier, Tiffania. Totally confused by the drama he sees, she is just protecting 2 tiny baby birds. These thugs hit that classic comic book villain face, threatening to kidnap her along with the birds. But then a voice shouts. As they turn around, smack a swift shoe straight to the teeth. The second guy panics, but a heavy punch folds him like a lawn chair. Both trash mobs hit the floor. Our hero offers the girl a hand and asks for the context. She explains she was just buying groceries, saw these chicks fall from their nest and tried to help. Then these alley creeps decided to ruin her day. He is totally confused because everyone around is suddenly just staring right at him. Getting bad vibes from this weird city, he suggests they bounce. But before they can, some random voice barks asking where they are going. A flashy blonde dude struts up, calling them insane for randomly beating up citizens and trying to just walk away. He arrogantly asks if they really thought they could leave without his say-so. Enter Damien. Realizing he is completely surrounded, our boy calls for a timeout. He argues the thugs started it, and this was pure self-defense. So, what do you and I make of this? Damien claims this peaceful city forbids all violence. Good luck with that. So now our guy is facing arrest. But arresting him means using violence, and that's just begging for trouble. Let's dive right in. Tiffania panics, but he says he's got this. Clearly this city is completely rigged. Starting a massive brawl right now only makes things worse. Playing it cool and peaceful is the smartest move here. He steps up, taking all the blame so the girl goes free. The blonde dude flashes a totally unhinged smile. Fine, he says, Carpen Castle never lays a finger on innocent people. The girl gets released. Tefania bolts to warn her brother while our guy just prays Charlin is smart enough to keep his sister's magic hidden. Our hero casually asks about his own punishment. Their response, a totally fair and impartial judge will decide his ultimate fate. Boom. Gavel drops. The judge instantly sentences Xavier Benedict straight to death. Xavier freezes. Yeah, something here is incredibly shady. Luckily, Charlin and the girl probably escaped. If he really wanted to bail right now, he could easily wreck everything and leave. Instead, he casually mocks them. He calls out the corrupt verdict, asking why they bully random civilians when literal demons are out there running wild. The judge smirks. Opinions do not matter because escaping is totally impossible. Challenge accepted. He sparks up some fire magic, ready to teach them an escape lesson. The guards absolutely panic, screaming about a mage. Sarcasm alert sure he just lit 5 matches in his hand. Damien starts sweating bullets. He yells that this is serious and the Lord needs to know. More guards rush in spears aimed right at him as the judge screams that magic does not excuse blatant court disrespect. He demands a surrender, claiming nobody ever breaks out of this fortress. Now pay attention here. That threat just excites him because suddenly a massive explosion rocks the entire place. Outside, absolute panic hits. Meanwhile, Charlin pushes their horse to the absolute limit while his sister worries about Xavier. He tells her to trust the plan. Staying behind would only drag the protagonist down. To make sure Xavier survives, they need to get miles away from this crazy city. While the crowd stares at the massive courthouse blast, our sneaky hero just casually slips away unnoticed. That raging inferno definitely bought him precious time. But the real victory is knowing Charlin and Nina made it out safe. He dashes through the alleys. Then the scene cuts to a heavily guarded fancy castle. Damien bursts in demanding to see the master, but he trips like a total clown, face-planting hard and dropping his poor kitten. Back out in the dark forest, Charlin stops the wagon and decides to set up camp right there. Tefania asks if Xavier is really going to survive this. He reminds her the kid saved them twice already, they have to believe in him. Hoping he is okay is their only option. It is honestly such a bizarre but wholesome friendship. Xavier wanted a quieter life, but totally avoiding battles in this world, yeah, basically impossible. While he is busy plotting his next move, a massive hand suddenly reaches out and grabs his stomach. He gets dragged across rooftops, shoved straight down a chimney, and aggressively tossed right back out. You saw that too, right? Carried like actual garbage. He stands up, totally stunned, unable to sense this guy's presence at all. The mystery man introduces himself as the legendary knight captain of Carpen Castle, Soren Theolon Bonin. Way too fancy. Let us just call him Soren. Xavier totally recognizes this absolute legend. Soren looks super confused since that is future timeline stuff and just laughs. He jokes that the kid is overhyping him. Cue Xavier going into his classic regression backstory monologue. Back in his past life, during the brutal Demon King War, this exact man fought bravely on the front lines. After 10 years, he vanished. Seeing him as captain here is wild. Soren just stares, wondering what this kid wants. Suddenly, Xavier yells at him. He never expected a hero like Soren to work for such a tyrannical garbage dump. Soren claims he is jumping to wild conclusions, but Xavier explains he saved a street girl and got a death sentence. Absolute zero logic. If the city operates like that, countless innocent people must have already been executed. Soren stands up. He points out the kid just blasted people with fire magic, instantly destroying his moral high ground. Wrong. That was literal self-defense against an unfair execution. Our hero shrugs, claiming the explosion was just a flashy distraction. Plus, you and I know that rigged court totally deserved to burn. Let's jump right into this wild setup. Suddenly, Soren shoves his sword in the kid's face, demanding answers. Magic at that age, completely abnormal. But our main character barely flinches. He simply asks if Soren is actually going to kill him just to get the truth. Soren ignores the question, asking if the kid knows swordplay. Now the protagonist is totally stunned. How on earth did he figure that out? He hasn't swung a blade once. Soren smirks, that shocked expression says everything. Turns out this kid is a rare magic and sword genius. An incredibly rare combo. Too bad nobody ever taught him to hide his emotions when facing down an enemy. The kid is still clueless. Was this absolute beast actually planning to fight him? Sure, he's trained like an absolute madman for 10 years, but he's standing face to face with the legendary Sword Saint. His true power level, completely unreadable. Soren casually tells the kid to relax, seeing him looking totally panicked and ready to snap. No need to freak out. Soren has zero plans to capture him. Our guy has no idea why Soren is laughing, calling him way too curious. Still completely lost. Then Soren extends a hand, admitting he loves raw talent. The offer: become his disciple. The kid is just straight up confused. Watch closely, here's the catch. Why offer this? Soren explains that since he's a powerhouse, his student needs absolutely god-tier talent to match. He drops his name Benedict. Soren pauses, muttering that he's definitely heard that name somewhere before. Regardless, he wants an answer right now. And Benedict, of course, he's down to be the disciple. Only one problem. He's been away from home way too long and needs to see his family, so they finally stop freaking out. Soren chuckles, asking if he's a runaway. But Benedict sighs it is a much longer, crazier story than that. The main issue, he's literally a wanted criminal in Carpin City. Hanging around might just drag Soren into a massive mess. Soren brushes it off. He couldn't care less. The Carpin Castle of today isn't the place he once knew. Benedict realizes even this legend rejects their rules. Soren casually asks where home is, and the kid replies, the Castle of Bones. Soren nods. Cool, he'll drop him there in one single day. The kid is baffled. Leave his city. Just like that, Soren laughs, explaining he's basically just a useless figurehead these days. He does literally nothing. 0 people will notice if he vanishes for a bit. Completely stunned. How did a legend like Soren lose all his sway with the knights? What the heck is happening in Carpin? That's his real talk. So, time to move out. Come on, kid. Our guy completely lost just blinks. Wait, go where exactly? Soren tells him to relax. He already prepped the horses for their great escape. But the kid is still super suspicious. This feels way too smooth. Does this legendary beast actually want him as a disciple? Regardless, he keeps Charlin and Tifania a total secret for now. What if this is an elaborate trap? Soon they arrive at a random house. We both caught this right, he calls out to little Lucia. Not gonna lie, this manhwa has a totally crazy amount of random kids. Don't call the feds on me, I'm just stating the facts. 0 weird business from my side. She runs over, super happy, hugging Soren. He gently asks if she missed her dad. Wow, totally thought she was a younger sister, not a daughter. This dude is a full-blown family man, Lucia points and asks who the idiot is. Soren laughs, dad's new disciple. She sprints off, screaming for her mom that dad finally brought home a disciple. Benedict instantly gets super emotional. Seeing her totally reminded him of his own sister. Inside pregnant Alicia Lambinen, Soren strolls in with pure confidence, walking right up to her. She giggles, and our guy awkwardly hits her with a polite greeting. She asks if he's hungry. Our classic glutton. Absolutely starving, obviously. It's a peaceful vibe. She apologizes for the simple food, but he insists it's completely perfect. Then Soren drops the news tomorrow morning they're taking a trip. She's confused. He explains he's taking this runaway kid back home to his parents just so he can officially claim him as a disciple. Benedict complains about being treated like a toddler. Soren just cracks up while his wife promises to prep the horses and tells them to rest up. Lucia pouts, asking if dad will be gone long. He promises it'll be a super quick trip. She won't even have time to miss him. Our guy realizes he completely overreacted, assuming Soren was plotting something evil. Yeah, maybe Soren isn't evil, but other people definitely are. Bam. The front door violently kicks open. Soren instantly jumps up, loud yelling outside. He orders the kid to hide upstairs with Lucia. Soren rushes the door. Benedict knows he's basically useless here because, let's face it, Soren is a literal monster compared to him. He sprints upstairs with a totally terrified Lucia. Down outside, Soren urgently asks Alicia what the hell is happening. She says weirdos are invading. And trust me, you're gonna want to see this. Stick with me here. Damien claims Captain Soren has a sketchy guest, and Soren angrily demands why they followed him. Damien smirks, warning him not to disrespect a superior. He tells Soren to watch his tone very carefully. Soren fires back that this is his house and he brings whoever he wants. Obviously, Damien rejects that and directly accuses him of actually hiding a criminal. Soren challenges him right back. Does Damien actually think those strict castle laws make any sense at all? The creepy guy hugs his cat, brushing it off. He claims those laws have kept the castle in perfect peace. Peace is absolute. Meanwhile, our boy Xavier is upstairs whispering for Lucia to stay quiet. Peeking through the window, he hears Damien threatening a forced violent search if they don't hand the target over. Xavier remembers that in his previous life, Soren vanished without a single trace. Damien was totally behind it. Sadly, whenever a society turns completely corrupt, absolute scumbags reap the biggest rewards. Solid guys like Soren just end up exploited by villains or tossed aside. Xavier realizes that staying hidden will only doom Soren's entire family, so he tells Lucia he needs to bounce, urging her to grow up strong and protect her parents. She nods. He flashes a quick thumbs up, saying he is counting on her. He orders her into the closet until things cool down. But right at that exact second, the door bursts open. Soldiers rush in and watch closely here. Instead of hiding, she is just chilling there, drawing casually, asking why Damien came. A panicked Soren rushes in, scolding her for sitting on the cold floor internally, sighing with massive relief that Xavier actually managed to escape safely. Lucia asks what Uncle Damien wants. The blonde guy kneels sweetly, asking where her brand new little friend might be hiding. Wasn't he just around? She pulls a perfectly clueless face. Friend, what are you talking about? Damien grits his teeth. He literally saw both kids walk up those stairs together. She fakes being terrified, claiming it must have been a ghost, and miraculously Damien just gives up. I honestly thought he was going to snap and boom, start literally slicing throats. But seriously, does Soren actually want his whole family wiped out? Soren furiously explodes, yelling that Damien completely trashed his house and there is no way his wife is cleaning it. Then his wife steps up fiercely, telling him he better not think about leaving. Amazingly, Damien just backs down. Wait, weren't they the ones getting threatened literally 2 seconds ago? Looks like Damien accepts defeat. Lucia flashes Soren a secret thumbs up and he happily returns it, thinking that one day he still really wants to see Xavier again. Meanwhile, our guy is sprinting away. He knows Soren understands that vanishing was the only smart play here. He frantically needs to locate Charlene and Tefania escape safely and head home, especially since they still blindly trust him 100%. You and I know he survives this. Oh yeah, he makes it out and she is just smiling happily. Honestly, worst friends ever. They did absolutely zero work and just camped out in the woods waiting. The good news is, after all that waiting, our exhausted boy finally catches up. Boom, we are back in Anzaf City, loud, massive, and totally bustling with impressive carriages and horses everywhere. The locals stare, wondering who these random blue-haired kids are. Suddenly one guy spots a familiar face. Wait, is that the Benedict son? Isn't that the kid who mysteriously vanished? At a random corner stall, a woman packing away her things glances up to complain about the noisy city today. Classic background, character, energy, and honestly, I completely forgot her name anyway. Then his childhood friend spots our guy standing right next to another girl looking completely thrilled. She grabs her dress and sprints over. He recognizes Cecily, instantly flashing a huge grin and announcing that he finally made it back home. As the carriage rolls by, he gives her a quick warm hug. He grabs her hand to introduce his new blue-haired crew, Charlene, and his sweet sister, Tefania. After she greets them both, our boy tells everyone to follow him back to his house. Meanwhile, leaves blow dramatically past his depressed mom, who is still sitting on a bench, missing her Xavier. She turns and suddenly sees him standing right there. Man, it's drawn so goofy they didn't even give his massive head any eyeballs. I almost thought he was a literal ghost, but nope, he is actually back in the flesh. Trembling, she stands up, asking if that is her Funko Pop. Recognizing her boy, she tackles him crying while he simply smiles and says he promised to return. Suddenly, the door opens. His dad walks out and spots his big-headed kid too. Xavier calls out and his dad instantly bursts into tears. Man, literally everyone is crying here. While they celebrate, Tefania quietly admits she misses her own parents. Seriously though, it looks like she might be an orphan, right? The dad warmly hugs her, promising he will always support her. Xavier finally tells his mom to please stop crying, and that's where you and I leave off. He pulls his friends forward, happily introducing the blue-haired siblings Tefania and her older brother Charlene. The dad welcomes them in, says from now on they are practically older brothers. Our main character thinks that age gap is way too huge for that. Meanwhile, Cecily is just hanging in the background, quietly thrilled that Xavier made it out in one piece. Stick with me here. You and I know this calm is fake. The real plot is coming. Night drops and Charlene announces he is taking off. He has got his own life right, but our guy's eyes go completely dark. Losing Charlene, not an option. So he basically demands they both stay. His grand plan, they all register together as reservists for the Empire's Knights. Next chapter hits. Someone asks our hero for a hand moving a heavy wardrobe and the kid looks ridiculously happy about it. Boom, a 3-year time skip. Since the main character learned they did not have any family back then, he straight up told them to live under his roof. Right now, final prep for the big night selection. Then the camera completely shifts over to Bonnie Castle. 2 little girls are sprinting all over the place. Yep, that is Tefania and Cecily playing around. They are already 11 years old. Looks like the whole squad lives together now. Total chaos. The dad is yelling at them to stop running before they completely bust their teeth on the floor. Meanwhile, our boy is busy helping his mom haul some boxes. He mentions they just got intel from his dad's friend, the Knight Vice Captain. Apparently some special training system just for nobles is starting in exactly 2 months. He throws the window open. The city is absolutely buzzing. He asks what is for dinner and calls out to Erd, who is still looking like an absolute giant. Thank goodness for him balancing out the army of little girls in this manhwa. She looks at him and says to chill out. Because the guy never stops training. Eating, sleeping, always grinding. The main character insists he needs max strength, and he needs it yesterday. She counters with a classic line, the first step to true strength is being grateful you are alive. Okay, hitting us with the deep philosophy. Since it is his very first time in the city, she suggests he actually go walk around Bonnie, but our guy instantly rejects the idea. Truth is, he already knows this place inside and out better than anyone. A beautiful city on the outside, totally bled dry by nobles. He tells Erd to speed it up, worried she has been feeling pretty depressed. Missing his childhood friend, he brushes it off. Cecily is tough, she will turn up. Wait, was she not the genius who brewed that crazy potion? Ring any bells, there was definitely a girl mixing potions, right? Or am I going crazy? Crazy or not, my memory is absolutely fried right now. Now pay close attention here. The scene cuts to a castle where Coffee comes with a casual death threat for failing. And guess who we see? Klaus. That spoiled brat actually survived. He stutters out a nervous yes. His dad instantly snaps at him, demanding to know why he is acting so weak and where his confidence went, reminding him of the massive fortune spent on his elite tutors. Klaus awkwardly forces out that he is confident. Really, with that terrible haircut, I am not buying it. Then he actually calls out to his old man. Klaus nervously asks to join that exclusive noble special training squad. Father of the year right here. He says do not bother him with stupid requests, just tell Michaela to set the whole thing up. Michaela. Kind of a funny name for a grown man, honestly. Klaus bows in thanks and quickly gets out of there. Once he is gone, the dad admits the kid changed drastically. Michaela agrees he grew well, but the dad thinks he got way too soft. Sure, he got stronger, but he is totally lacking the ruthless traits of a real noble. Klaus thinks he is slick, but his dad knows he sneaks out to hang with commoners. Is having poor friends basically illegal in this family? Michaela plays peacemaker, saying it is smart to study the city folks. The dad nods, but he completely suspects Klaus has a secret motive. Outside, Klaus orders his guards to back off. The knights just shrug, saying they are strictly following orders. He arrogantly claims nobody in all of Bonnie would dare touch him. The guard sighs and offers to prep the fancy carriage. But Klaus completely shuts that down. He is walking there solo. If he takes the family carriage, everyone will track his exact location. You and I both know this kid is acting weird. He smiles, whispering it has been 3 long years since he saw his special person. Looking giddy as hell, he is basically shaking to meet his glorious savior again. Seriously, give me a break. Apparently, a secret letter tipped him off that his savior just hit the city. Did Cecily leak the info? I mean, it is not. Wait a second. Did this punk not try to buy Cecily for 3 gold coins? Man, anime logic, friendship fixes everything. Hilariously, Klaus starts fixing his ridiculous hair. He wants to look absolutely perfect so he can properly thank the guy who changed his life. He practically skips over to the main character, shouting for his legendary savior. The main character just deadpans. Who are you? Klaus freezes. It is me, Klaus. The main character just squints at him. Yeah, no, still drawing a total blank. Klaus gets a bright idea. He violently messes up his hair, scowls, and yells that this bastard has the nerve to forget him. Bingo, memory unlocked. The main character instantly realizes, wait, is that the stupid rich brat from back then? Klaus happily agrees. But that is where we leave it. The main character draws his huge sword to Klaus's neck, demanding why he is there. Trust me, you will want the next part. Let's dive back in. Klaus awkwardly swears he is totally changed now. Our hero is not buying it. Nobody changes that completely in a few years. But Klaus desperately insists he can just ask Cecily. They have been trading letters constantly. Reading through them, our guy admits, well yeah, Cecily really is writing to you. If she trusts you, then fine. I am sold. Klaus instantly relaxes, practically pouring out endless thanks because our main character saved his life back then. From this moment on, he is officially calling him Big Brother. He rushes in for a massive hug, practically crying that he has waited for this. Need a favor, just say the word. The main character instantly snaps back first order of business, let go, and take 5 steps back. Klaus quickly backs off and our guy immediately asks, so what is the real deal here? Where are your servants? Klaus casually mentions he sent everyone packing just to get some sweet peace and quiet. Fine, the main character sighs, but if people see you, this spot will get crowded fast. Just hurry up and get inside. Klaus completely geeks out, while our hero tells him to be extremely grateful for visiting his big brother's house. Watch closely here. Klaus is running around super hyped like a crazy person, while our hero thinks no way someone absolutely had to brainwash this weird guy with some kind of magic. Meeting the main character's parents, Klaus instantly bows super deep, cheerfully introducing himself as the poor kid who almost became a magic beast's snack. Mom and dad are completely baffled. The main character just waves it off, ignore him, his brain is a little broken. Klaus pouts, whining that Big Brother really does not appreciate true gratitude. The dad is totally confused. Since when is his son a big brother? Who is this strange kid? Tefania walks in with tea for Klaus, and the main character snaps at him to turn off those creepy sparkling eyes right now. And drop the Big Brother title entirely. Just use his actual real name. Our main character is quietly panicking. He has never seen a noble act this weirdly obsessed, and it feels super sketchy. Klaus then drops a bomb. He is joining the special training too. Obviously, he bought his way in with pure family money. But he swears this is absolutely the last time. From now on, he wants to grind and earn his entire future completely on merit. The main character reflects on reality. Everyone knows knights are mostly rich nobles who easily bribe their way up. During peacetime, honestly, it does not seem like a big deal. But you and I know the truth. When war hits and nobles abandon the cities, everyone will finally see the absolute danger. Sure, some knights have actual honor, but the vast majority, total cowardly parasites. Klaus admits it is hard to believe, but he deeply reflected on what happened 3 years ago. Xavier is genuinely impressed. The kid actually matured. And then Klaus casually snitches on his own dad, saying he strongly suspects the old man is plotting something extremely dark. His dad trusts him 0%, keeping him totally in the dark. He snooped around but sadly found absolutely nothing. Xavier just watches, completely speechless. Then Klaus stands right up, boldly declaring he wants to sever all ties with the Klaus family. Wait, so Klaus was his family name this entire time? Wild. But honestly, it is going to stay that way anyway. With the weird kid finally heading to another district, our main character decides to enjoy the quiet day and go buy some boring study supplies. Looking at the packed market stalls, something feels incredibly strange to him. In his previous life, this exact place was completely erased in a single demon attack. With the night exams rapidly approaching, merchants are aggressively hustling study guidebooks and flashy, horribly overpriced swords to the crowd. Idiots think they are buying legendary gear, but our main character coldly notes this whole city is already rotting inside. When will people wake up? Maybe they already know but stay completely silent. He did not notice back then either, unfortunately. He walks up to a bag vendor and asks for the price. The guy demands 15 and our hero smoothly orders 2. Suddenly, chaos erupts right behind him. Loud shouting and a woman screams her bag was stolen. Our guy thinks just a petty thief. Not my problem. The city guards will definitely handle it. But she faceplants hard and the useless knights just watch. She is sobbing, begging because that bag held absolutely everything. He lets out a heavy sigh. Total garbage knights. He pulls her up, telling her to sit tight. He will get it back. The poor sword merchant becomes his first victim as our guy snatches a blade mid-sprint, shouting that he will return it in a second. He is closing in fast, but the packed city streets are turning into a massive obstacle course, so he leaps straight onto the stalls. He dashes right over the top of the crowd, rushing straight after the thief because his sister is waiting at home. But then he spots it. Trust me, you are absolutely not ready for what happens next. Stick with me. You are about to see Klaus sneak up behind the thief, charge a flaming fist, and boom, blast him with a huge explosion. He celebrates, claiming a perfect dead center hit. But our MC's face drops. Why? Because when the smoke clears, the guy is completely unharmed, laughing about facing a fire mage. Yun admits the guy isn't half bad, easily blocking a direct attack like that. But he still shouldn't expect to just walk away after stealing right in the city. Our MC is actually impressed. How did a selfish brat suddenly become a guy risking his life for strangers? Maybe 3 years really changed him. But then the thief pulls out a Beyblade-looking watch, hits both buttons, and fires back a fireball. Klaus dodges it easily, but the blast heads straight for the most classic anime trope ever, a little girl about to get hit. The MC jumps in just in time to save her. Honestly, I expected a barrier. He tosses her safely to her mom, completely in shock. Wait, this random thief uses magic. Turns out he just relies on gadgets. Klaus yells that the scumbag uses magic tools to steal. So disgraceful. And yep, it is raining fireballs today. Klaus immediately throws another one out. It looks like a mid-rank spell and the MC watches closely to see his escape. Another explosion, but he dodges the usual way. He just sidesteps it, going full Naruto mode. Then Klaus unleashes a rapid-fire magic barrage. Seriously, the kid acts like an Uzumaki. The MC stays impressed, giving Klaus the win. Klaus charges up a massive blast like a literal spirit bomb. Even the thief panics. Klaus might accidentally vaporize half the city. Klaus smirks, saying it is way too late to look scared. But the thief's expression shifts. Now you'll want to watch closely here. He shows off that Beyblade watch again, mocking Klaus for struggling against a simple tool. Klaus hurls the massive blast right at him. The thief simply presses 2 buttons, claiming attacks do not work on him. The blast hits a wall and wildly twists inward. It doesn't just stop. It violently changes direction and shoots right back at Klaus. The poor noble kid totally freezes, helpless, as that giant burning sphere flies straight at his face. But relax, our MC steps up to handle the mess. He jumps right in front, tanking the explosion. Then a hand emerges from the smoke. It's our boy, perfectly fine, just farming pure aura. Klaus gets super emotional seeing his big bro save him. Meanwhile, the thief is sweating. How did he stop that bare-handed? Acting like an absolute menace, the MC smirks and says that watch is interesting. So interesting that a low-life thief shouldn't have it. He tells him to hand it over. Before the guy can even blink, the MC dashes in, asking if that watch can block a sword strike too. The thief smashes the button again, yelling that the kid needs a beating to understand their power gap. His reversal watch deflects more than magic. A massive tornado erupts and completely swallows the MC. Honestly, he does not even care what the guy is yapping about. He just really wants that loot. He dodges midair, but then 2 more attacks violently launch at him from below and behind. Somehow he literally steps on the wind from the attack and closes the gap like a speeding bullet. Oh right. You and I almost forgot, didn't we? He literally has the power of that gorgeous wind spirit inside him. Using her wind techniques, he flips his momentum and suddenly his blade is inches from the thief's face. Next chapter, the watch drops. Klaus cheers wildly, hyping up his big brother as the absolute strongest. The thief, shaking in pure terror. He is too scared to even breathe. The MC says it's over, give back the stolen goods or get sliced. The thief hesitates for 1 second. The MC coldly warns he will not repeat himself. Panic sets in. Wait, just hold on. Here, take my personal item, it is all I have left. But the MC kicks it away. Nope, hand over the magic tool. The thief bursts into tears, crying about his hard work. How can you rob me, Xavier scoffs. You stole it, didn't you? So I am stealing it back. The guy whines that a swordsman does not even need a magic item. Why do you want this thing so badly anyway? Xavier says he isn't here to talk. Hand it over or else. The thief finally hands it over and apologizes. The MC smiles. Perfect. Now that the loot is secured, it is time for this guy to rot in a holding cell. Right on cue, a city guard pushes through the crowd declaring the thief is officially under arrest. The MC rolls his eyes. Useless guards only show up after the boss fight. Real experts at doing the absolute bare minimum. Klaus is overjoyed, thanking the MC for rescuing him like a knight. But the MC just says Klaus got really lucky. He only wanted that overpowered watch from the thief. But first, they really need to return the woman's stolen stuff. That's where we leave it. We thought it was the backpack, but he actually snatched her necklace. Alright, stick with me. She gets super emotional, thanking them both because her husband actually made this by hand. Our hero, completely chill, he tells her to just be careful so it doesn't get snatched again. Meanwhile, Klaus is literally staring with these massive sparkling eyes. Klaus is completely obsessed now. Honestly, what's his survival rate here? Because if some random villain actually takes Klaus out, our main character would go absolutely ballistic. Not gonna lie, an epic revenge arc sounds awesome. Now, watch closely. The main character announces he's going shopping for his sister, telling Klaus to pack it up and head home. But of course, this sparkling-eyed idiot refuses to leave, clinging to him like an absolute lost puppy. While they stroll around, somebody is watching them from the shadows, whispering about how crazy it is that this guy's son became a literal vigilante.